about this as a diagnostic tool. If I get in front of a horse, I should be able to move his mouth 1 central incisors width, first make contact, then it must ride over, coming to the opposite side. But if there's a problem with the cheek, often it gets stuck, or it goes 1.5 incisors, or it doesn't even go in 1 stuck. I can't say what the pathology is, but that should immediately tell you already the pathology at the back. Okay, so there's the YouTube video that you guys can go watch. Show you a little bit better. This is quite important that you understand natural excursion and how it can help you get an idea of what's happening in this horse. The next thing we mentioned earlier, one of you mentioned that the teeth sits all the way into the maxillary sinuses, and you know there's two, rostral and oral maxillary sinus. So it's important that you understand which teeth sit where, depending on where the pathology is, basically the radiograph or CT scan, you can identify and say, right, probably those teeth, this tooth that is situated in that area. And it also helps us to delineate once we have to extract this tooth. You can see this is a picture that is out of the textbook where they show where you go openings so that you can drive the lower cavity, either from the maxilla or from the mandible. That's just one technique. Coming back to the tooth roots that is in the skull, in the sinuses, and here you can see a cadaver being cut open, and you can get a feeling how close the association of the roots with the sinus is, and then that's a CT scan of a younger horse, and of course a younger horse, bigger teeth, it's going to be much closer associated to the maxillary sinus, whereas in an older horse, or as you go a little bit further rostral, then it's not that close to the floor of the sinus anymore. What I want to show you on this is, on this cadaver specimen, if there was infection in this tooth, that's the pulp chamber there. Then it will obviously go out where the root, where the blood vessels and nerve enter this tooth. You can see it's right at the floor of the sinus. It doesn't take much for a tooth abscess to flow into the maxillary sinus. That is why horses with maxillary sinusitis, one of the first DDs you try and rule out is dental. It is really common. And unless you sort out the tooth problem, you will never clear that sinus. What you need to keep in mind is once you start opening the sinus and go and treat teeth, be very careful of the installed canal. Runs right there. Damage that. Talking about ipsodont teeth and the separation of the teeth into the areas where you have sizes, canine area, with teeth. Again, just remember this is called the reserve crown, everything that is here, and that would be the root. The ipsodont teeth are husks of the water. Don't have a root. Always open, always drink more sun. Here will form the root, then it carries on the whole cavity. so I'm going to run a little bit through odontogenesis. As I said, keep this in mind, and the next semester we're going to do a little bit more about this. Every tooth is composed of two parts of the primordial structure. See any developing young layer. It's part of the ectoderm and it's part of the mesoderm. So what else does ectoderm form in the animal? What other structures comes from ectoderm? Using it. Your skin. So ectodermal dysplasia in dogs and cats, you will think about dogs like Mexican hairless. So there's a dysplasia of the ectoderm already there. And that's why those animals don't always have it. Or all the teeth they should have. Either as it may. We have ectoderm, that is the lining of the oral cavity of the primordium in the young developing embryo. And that starts to, at certain areas, invaginate into the mesoderm. So that's called the bud, the epithelial bud, that pushes into the mesoderm underneath it. And this outer lining, this epithelial lining here, one cell layer, this is a very important part of this whole tooth development process. This is where the ameloblasts, those cells that's going to form the enamel. And on the opposite side, we have these mesenchymal cells that sit here. The first layer that's going to form around there is the layer that's going to form dentin. So that interaction between those two layers are crucial. If you go, they've done in rats, where you go and take just one component away, the mesoderm, you take it away, no tooth develops. Or if you take the epithelium away, the mesoderm, no tooth develops. So there's interaction between those cell layers. That is what initiates tooth formation. Okay, so from the bud stage, we go to the cap stage. You see it forms like a little cap. There it's got the single cell layer there, external enamel epithelium, and then in between there it's called the stellate reticulum. This is just space where there's some fluid, and some believe that this is just to nourish the that's going to form it, but it's just a bare structure. And then you can see now we're starting to develop something more approximating a tooth. And the black here is the first enamel, primary enamel that is being formed. As that primary enamel is being formed, it initiates by chemical action the odontoblast to start forming three dentines. Once those two are formed, then they carry on. The enamel is packed from the outside, and dentin is forming. And what is also interesting is out of this bud, the stalk that comes out of the oral epithelium, for those teeth that have primary dentition, the milk tooth, usually there's a little stalk that comes off, and that's where the permanent tooth is going to be. So if a dog or a horse or any animal does not have the primary tooth of whichever tooth, the likelihood is very good. Both come